So action cameras have a problem that no one is really talking about. And there's one big reason why even the companies behind them don't want us to talk about it. But I think it's time for a big change. So in this video, I will show you what this problem is. I will explain why companies don't really like it. And in the end, we'll talk about some major changes that are coming to cameras just like this one. So let's talk about the elephant in the room first. Action cameras are for action, right? Well, not really, but their marketing is, so I don't blame you for thinking that. We will talk more about this in the next section, but here's what you need to know. Actual statistics about how people really use action cameras are hard to find, but I left some links in the description down below. One thing is clear though, if you look at YouTube, Reddit, or just at your friends and family, action cameras are used for all types of purposes. Some people use them for their family and friends, maybe to record their family events or their children because they're so rugged. Other people use them for travel, which makes a lot of sense because they're so rugged and even waterproof, so whatever happens during your travel, this camera will survive it. And then there's a third group of people that uses cameras just like this for vlogging. Yep, this is an amazing vlogging camera, except it has a bunch of small little downsides that are just so annoying. It is estimated that less than half of all action users actually use it to film action. And before you go out and say, oh bro, just buy a Pocket 3. Listen, I have a Pocket 3 and my wife also has a Pocket 3. That's not the point. Because while the Pocket 3 is great, it is just not this typical point and shoot camera. Because the beauty about an action camera is that it is a true point and shoot. You can hold it in one direction and it will record in that direction. And you cannot take the Pocket 3 into the water or really even into the rain. Plus, you cannot drop this thing because you might have to buy a new one. But an action camera? Sure, why not? So you can see why vloggers and travelers would like a camera in the format of, for example, the Action 5 Pro. So it sounds like action cameras are perfect then, right? Nope, not really, because they really suck at a few things. For example, action cameras have really small sensors, and that means that they capture less light, which results in really bad low light performance. So using these cameras in anything but true daylight isn't recommended. Image stabilization is also pretty bad if you don't use it during the day, because if you use it at night, it ends up with these micro jitters. And that really happens on any camera, even on an iPhone 16 Pro Max. Another thing that action cameras are really bad at is background blur. So as you can see right now, I'm recording on a very expensive Sony camera and I have separation from the background. So this is all blurry while my face is in focus. Some people, including myself, really like this, while other people would rather have the image be completely in focus. And while I do understand that GoPro hasn't done anything about this, because let's be honest, they don't really listen to their customers, one has to wonder, why have DJI and Insta360 not done anything about this? There's really just one big reason why companies don't make the products that we actually want. And to understand this, we have to look at Apple. Because there has been a vivid discussion about Apple's iPads and one change that people have been asking for years. Let the iPad run Mac OS, so we can do anything that we do on our Macs, but on our iPads. I had to get back home because this Joby tripod that I've just used for 2 days, it literally just broke. Absolutely, it's like the worst quality. It's not the first. You know what? I'll keep that for another video. So imagine what would happen if Apple actually does it. They put macOS onto the iPad. What happens next? Well, I'll tell you. A lot of people, including myself, would ditch their Macs and work exclusively from the iPad. And there lies the problem, or what business strategists call product differentiation. Companies don't actually want to make products that we need. Instead, they want to make as many different products as they can that we still buy to, you guessed it, make as much money as possible. And unfortunately for us, selling 2 or 3 products is much more profitable than selling just one. And so you have to ask yourself, why would Apple sell only an iPad when they can also sell a Mac? And equally, why would DJI only sell an Action 5 Pro when they can also sell an Osmo Pocket 3? Companies really need us to believe that these are 2 different products, but in reality, they could very well just be one product in a standard and a Pro version, just like the iPhone, for example. So the real question is, will this ever change? And if so, when? So I think we have a lot of things coming our way in the next 2 years for 2 reasons. So number one, DJI did something super weird with the naming of their action cameras this year, because so far it was Action 1, Action 2, Action 3, Action 4. But this year they did something different, because this year it's Action 5 Pro. Pro? There's no standard version, only a Pro. And the camera that they released it's not pro in no way, shape or form. So this tells us they have a plan. And I'm betting that next year with the Action 6, we'll get two versions. The Action 6, which will be the traditional successor of the Action cameras, and an Action 6 Pro, which will be much closer to a Pocket 3, but in the format of an action camera. And the second reason is that DJI is no longer alone, because when they started and joined the action camera game, there was only GoPro. And let's be honest, GoPro hasn't made the best action cameras in many, many years. So really for DJI, there wasn't a lot of competition. That was until last year, which is when Insta360 suddenly joined the action camera game. And that was something that DJI didn't see coming, and it's drastically increasing competition in a market that DJI really didn't have too much to worry about before. But Insta360, despite being part of some controversies last year, is an incredibly competent and technologically advanced competitor. It's really a game of chicken where the first company to sacrifice product differentiation stands to gain a lot of customers. But until then, I agree that the DJI Osmo Pocket 3 is the best vlogging camera. And if you still don't have one, watch my review right here.